What is good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another big Nintendo Switch 2 news and updates. Today we got a lot of great content to get into, AAA games and more. So let's go ahead and jump right into it with Battlefield 6. Now this is a game that's not currently on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's on PC, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5, but that doesn't mean that EA isn't necessarily looking into getting it on the Nintendo Switch 2. So there has been a new survey that's popped up, and they've talked about what they're most likely to play Battlefield 6 on, and this survey mentions the Nintendo Switch 2. Now this does not confirm that EA will be porting Battlefield 6 to the Nintendo Switch 2, but they do put it out there as somewhat of a feeler overall. Now, one thing that you have to note with Battlefield 6, obviously, big CPU intensive game. I'm not a developer, but getting this type of massive, huge, open-ended game on the Nintendo Switch 2 would definitely take some time and effort, which that's okay, because there's probably going to be people that would buy it on there, so it would pay for itself and then some. And I think it'd actually do pretty good if they were able to get a great port across. So for example, EA did Apex Legends on the Nintendo Switch 2, and that turned out better than what anybody would have thought with that type of game, actually matching the Xbox Series S version and somewhat surpassing it in different aspects according to Digital Foundry. So if they were able to get Battlefield 6 running on the Nintendo Switch 2 in 60 FPS, or at least 40 FPS at a bare minimum, because you need that smooth frame rate for this type of massive open-ended multiplayer game, I think that would be pretty cool. Now, am I a big Battlefield fan? No, I'm long done just going online and just shooting a bunch of people online for just random XP and all that. I find that stuff to be completely pointless overall. It's just not something that I want to do, but I understand that this type of game, especially with it breaking records on Steam or doing really well on Steam and people are playing it on Xbox and PlayStation, I think that it would be a great game to have over, and one of those tentpole type of third-party games to show that yes, you can have massive current generation games that look great with these huge online communities all come together on this portable device with the Nintendo Switch 2 that's also dubs as a hybrid that you can play anywhere that you want, whether you're at home or on the go. So I just think that'd be pretty cool. And once again, if you want to get what their lofty goals are, which is 100 million players at some point, having the Nintendo Switch 2, an up-and-coming system that's probably running on about 10 million plus units sold at this point, and will be more with Pokemon Legends ZA and all the holiday games coming, I think that will probably be a good idea, as this platform is gaining fast when it comes down to it, and a platform like Xbox Series right now that's not necessarily selling too well. So I do think that it's a possibility that we see it, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. But before we get into the next topic, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next thing here. Another big AAA title that definitely seems like it's confirmed at this point, and that is Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is a game that was already kind of leaked and talked about a bit before when it comes to different retailer listings, but now we actually have the box art with the game key card retail listed and everything. So French retailer Auchan, and I'm probably saying that wrong, they have listed Assassin's Creed Shadows for the Nintendo Switch 2. The page includes the box art, which you guys are seeing right here, and game key card, which was unsurprising considering this game's like 100 gigabytes or something like that on Xbox and PlayStation. So you need to download the game as well, even with the physical copy on Xbox and PlayStation. So it's going to make sense that it's going to be a game key card here as well. So one thing that we do know is that Nate the Hate, reliable insider, he actually talked about how Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming. Once again, we did get a retail leak beforehand, so this is all but confirmed when it comes to this game. Now, I did play Assassin's Creed Shadows on my PlayStation 5, and it's an okay game. It's got some really cool stealth mechanics. There's some nice stuff in there. The graphics look good, and I think that it even looks okay on Xbox Series S as well. Now, if you have a PS5 Pro and you really want to get the best graphical experience and performance from this game, then PS5 Pro or PC is probably the better option for you. But if you want some portable assassin stuff going on and probably going to be playing at 30 FPS, then I think that Assassin's Creed Shadows on the Nintendo Switch 2 could be for you. I think the setting's pretty cool, but once again, there's just some of the same, I would say, problems or pitfalls that big AAA open world games kind of run into. A million different things to do, pulling you in every single direction, and it just kind of gets derivative at times, and that's my own own personal gameplay experience, but you might feel differently with this one. Or if you've already played it on Xbox or PlayStation or PC, you kind of understand what I'm talking about, or maybe you really like that type of thing. So really, it's up to each individual person, but I did enjoy my 15 to 20 hours that I did play through the game. I just didn't feel like I needed to really just go further with it, just because it was kind of a lot of the same. But the story just seems alright too. So we'll see what the price is. We'll see what they do with this game overall. I'm looking forward just to seeing how it runs and how it looks on the Nintendo Switch 2, but based off of what we've seen before with games like Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft, this should be a pretty good port, and it might surprise some people as well. So what do you guys think about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Pretty much confirmed here for the Nintendo Switch 2. Let me know in the comment section below. Next up, we're going to talk about a brand new game announcement for the Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and that is Avatar Legends, the fighting game, which I think is a working title for right now. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty cool here. We got a brand new traditional 2D fighting game in the Avatar universe. You see Legend of Korra as well, so this is actually pretty cool. So this is from Gameplay Group. Now the game contains a wealth of characters from both Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra in a 1 versus 1 fast-paced fighting game. Avatar Legends, the fighting game, will feature 12 characters at launch and more to be added as part of the game's season pass. So here are the features: 12 playable characters at launch, more incoming, selectable support characters influence your fighting style and grant special moves, unique flow system with movement-centric gameplay, single-player campaign with original narrative, combo trials, gallery mode, best-in-class netcode, and crossplay, plus additional features and mechanics to be announced soon. So the one thing about this game, it seems like it's from the same people who made or who were involved with them fighting herds, which does have best-in-class netcoding gameplay overall when it comes to crossplay and online netcode and all of that. It's really good in that game. That's like that pony fighting game or something like that. I'm not really sure, like horses or something, but anyway, from what I understand from that game, from what I've researched, that game has really good netcode. It feels like it's offline all the time. So I think that what they're trying to do here is they're trying to simplify it and make it to where, hey, look, one-on-one with some support characters, let's get a solid base and foundation of a fighting game. Let's focus on these 12 characters, get balance right, and let's make sure that we do this correctly, because we saw what happened with Hunter x Hunter, then Impact, and that was, I wouldn't say the game's a disaster, but the game is somewhat of a disaster overall when it comes to the balancing. When it came to the netcode at first, they were doing non-rollback, then they did rollback, they had the delay, so I think that they're handling this one a little bit differently so it doesn't end up like that and nobody's playing the game, because Hunter x Hunter's a popular IP, but nobody played it. So we'll see what happens going forward with this, and I'm looking forward to actually trying this one out. I'm not a huge Avatar fan, but I do think that it could be pretty cool to play the game. So what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. Let's talk about some Sonic Racing Crossworlds for the Nintendo Switch 2. As you all know, the Switch 2 version is not out yet at this point. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and the Nintendo Switch 1. But guys, the Nintendo Switch 1 version is pretty crusty and kind of ghetto, running at 30 FPS with some dips, some problems overall, not the best looking graphics. I'm not sure what happened with that Switch 1 version, considering it looks worse than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is essentially a Wii U game. So I'm not sure what they are doing there, but don't worry guys, if you have the Nintendo Switch 2, apparently Sega is stating that they're going to use the full capabilities of the Nintendo Switch 2 with Sonic Racing Crossworld. And here's what Mr. Iizuka had to say about that in a recent interview. Quote, "We wanted to release the Switch 2 version at the same time as other platforms, but because the console's release date was later, we wanted to make sure we could provide a game that optimized the new console. When you look at the content that will be provided, there's no difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2 games. It won't be 100% replica because of the differences in the hardware specs." Now, Iizuka did not clarify what we can expect when it comes to resolution and frame rate, because they're probably still just finalizing all of that, but there should be a big boost, because once again, the game runs at 30 FPS on the Nintendo Switch 1, so we should probably see it running at 60 FPS on the Nintendo Switch 2, and expect all of the same content, season pass, all that stuff to be there as well. So apparently Sonic Racing Crossworlds is still set to be sometime this year. At least that's what Nintendo everything is stating, but the physical release is going to be sometime next year. So don't quote me on any of that. We're going to have to wait and see. The year is fast approaching its end here, and we don't have any type of release date for the game and all of that. So it's one of those things that we're just going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. If I were them, if they're already just going to wait for the physical release, you might as well just wait till everything's ready. The game is already late at this point, so you might as well just wait till everything's ready to go. All of your updates are done, and then you just launch everything with the physical and the digital all right there at the same time, and maybe add in an extra here or there. So I think that's essentially what I would do if I was running that, just because right now we don't know the sales numbers and all that. It seems like it's doing okay in some places, but in Japan it got absolutely obliterated by Mario Kart World and a bunch of other games, so it's not doing so hot there. But when it comes to the West, we're gonna have to wait and see on that. But I think it's one of those things that if you have a Switch 1, you're probably thinking, okay, I can just get this game on the Nintendo Switch 2 when they release it. So I do think that that actually kind of contributed to the game necessarily not doing as well, because a lot of Sonic fans are on Nintendo platforms and probably want to play the game on the Nintendo Switch 2 to have a portable racing game. I mean, racing games are cool and all, but do you really want to be stuck to the TV all the time with the racing game? So I'm thinking that a lot of Sonic fans are like, okay, I'll just wait for the Switch 2 version of the game. Apparently there is going to be an upgrade path though, so if you have the Switch 1 version, you'll be able to just link up and get the Switch 2 version, pay for a patch to get that up to the Switch 2 version of the game. So once again, we'll have to wait and see how all that plays out and what they charge and all that. But overall, what do you guys think so far when it comes to Sonic Racing Crossworlds? Are you enjoying the game on Switch 1 or on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC? Or are you waiting for the Switch 2 version? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, we're gonna get to the final topic here, guys. Let's discuss what's happening with Pokemon Legends ZA. As we are upon us with the launch week of the game, I will be at my GameStop midnight launch ready to go, and I will be streaming the game, and I'll be giving away a copy of the game as well. So make sure you head by to the stream. It's gonna be a lot of fun giving away that copy and of course playing the game as well, because I'm looking forward to it so much. I've tried to not watch too much of the media on the game and all of that, just because I want to be surprised, because the ROM is out there, it's leaked and all that stuff. So I just want to go into it kind of blind and play the game and enjoy it. But we do have some updates on the graphical performance of the game just a bit here. So shout outs to Necro Felipe from University Nintendo over there on Twitter, and of course their own website. And he says, interesting. Apparently, Game Freak has incorporated FSR into its graphical engine for the main Pokemon games. The Trinity engine, Pokemon Legends ZA displays licenses for using FSR versions 1.0 and 2.2. This is the first game in the franchise to use FSR, so it kind of smooths things out just a bit from a graphics wise. And it's interesting because the game is not going to be using the proprietary DLSS that they have in there with Nvidia, what Nintendo has with the Switch 2. This is full and through though a Switch 1 game. At the end of the day, it's a Switch 1 game. The Switch 2 came mid-development, so they were trying to get it put over. But I do think that because it's a Switch 1 game running on Switch 2, obviously the performance is significantly better than what we've seen on the Nintendo Switch 1. It looks smoother on Switch 2, it runs at double the frame rate, and from everything that Nintendo has shown and what people have actually played hands-on, that frame rate holds up, and the graphics of the game, while not the most detailed and intricate overall, it still has a smooth, appealing look to the graphics. It's not going to be running like sub 1080p and looking kind of crusty and all of that. It looks good with the resolution and it runs good, which is the most important thing, that the game actually runs solid. So those are the things that's good about this, and they actually implemented FSR, which once again they've never done for any mainline Pokemon game, so that's absolutely a good thing, kind of smoothing things out. But I would hope that the next Gen 10 Pokemon, the game that's probably going to be revealed sometime early next year and drop in the fall of 2026, I think that game's going to be a full-on Switch 2 game, and it incorporates DLSS and other things to really help the Pokemon company out. And this could be, like I said, a breaking moment. You got this game, Pokemon Legends ZA, full-on action RPG, first full-on action RPG for a mainline series game ever, and then the big Gen 10 Pokemon game, turn-based battles, online multiplayer, all of that type of stuff. So it's going to be an exciting next year or so for Pokemon fans out there. So what do you guys think about everything that we discussed here, man? A lot of topics that we went over. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.